Sounds like that. Number 8. And Brian on food. County services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Services tonight at 6:01, and we have Amanda, who will come up and give us an update.
Yeah. So I just wanted to provide everybody with an update on some of the programming. We're going to start with nutrition. So, we've been doing a big push social media wise to try to bring in applicants for volunteers. We had 7 people submit an application. 3 of those 7 work full time, didn't realize the commitment was a hot meal in the middle of the day, Monday through Friday. So we did forward them on to Catholic Charities for their friendly visitor program. 1 is able to be a substitute only, and the other 3 haven't responded after we reached out to them to do the background checks. The month of November, we had 17 days in total that we were serving meals. Out of those 17 days, we had 11 volunteers call out on 11 different routes and had to cover those shifts with 9 staff. Some of the staff members took multiple routes. The mountaintop specifically, we had staff covering 5 of the 17 days, which totaled 7 routes. In December, so far, now it's only the 8th, we had staff covering 14 out of 22 days in December's for the mountaintop area, a total of 21 routes that we couldn't fill by the time we got to today. And we had 1 no-show in Catskill, which was covered by another volunteer. So in January, we're going to start expanding some of our volunteer agency connections that we have, like the ARC. They're going to take on some combination routes. We're going to just modify the routes a little bit, and Living Resources may also pick up a couple routes for us. That really is only going to help the valley towns at this point. However, we did find we had an employee that was a driver for us that has now returned, and he kind of moved right in because he was within the year period. So that's working well, and he's taking the mountaintop routes, which is great. And we have another one that is in the onboarding process. She's going through the background checks, and we have two other applicants that reached out. So clearly that's kind of more the direction that we anticipated we were going to get more feedback from, was people, opening that they wanted to come and work for us versus be a volunteer. As of right now, the totals in the programs are, we have 123 meals prepared by us daily for the home delivered. 2 of them are through this Verbena Senior Project, which come the end of the year, they won't be eligible. 33 people are on mom's meals, and that gives us a grand total of 158 that are currently enrolled in home delivered meals. And 11 of them are temporarily on hold. They're either in rehab, out of the area for the winter, or in the hospital. So just kind of an update on where we're at. They're sort of leveling off at that 150 to 158 range. At this point, the only unreachable areas in the county that we're seeing as far as requests are the Westerlo Greenville line, Cornwallville, Halcott, pretty much the furthest points throughout the county. So we are giving them the option of mom's meals. The way that has worked historically is that, let's say we have 3 people in the same area along, just off an extension of a route. We will expand the route if there's enough people, but we're not going to drive 20 extra miles, let's say, for 1 meal, because that's, we have to worry about temperatures and things like that. So if we can modify routes, we will do that. And, it usually will happen in a few months after they're on the service. But otherwise, we are offering them mom's meals. We do have a plan as well that, winter wise, if people are having a hard time keeping their driveways clear, because this is an issue that we have with volunteer drivers, right? They don't want to go down long driveways or uncleared paths, we don't want them getting injured, things like that. So if people are having a hard time maintaining, they may go to mom's meals, which the UPS driver, FedEx driver will deliver it to the door. we will offer that as an option if we can't get to them. We have called in the past to say, hey, we can't get access. Sometimes they let us know ahead of time, which is nice. Our plow driver didn't come or whatever. If it becomes too much of a safety hazard, like, and consistently, and we're not hearing from them, we will notify APS, to make sure that people can get in and out of their home safely and have a plan. We also have a plan for winter storms. This was something that kind of bothered me last year. I think we kind of lucked out. We didn't have a whole lot of storms during the weekdays. But the plan will be that we will keep Athens and Acre open on any inclement weather days. And the other areas will close, and we will reassign staff as long as they're part-time or full-time staff. They will get assigned to a center to show up at. They don't have to. I mean, in the last storm we had, I think it was 8 individuals that were out at our local sites that had, just called out saying we're not going to make it in because of the inclement weather. The plan for that was just to make sure that we had some sort of area open, that if people needed to get warm, they didn't want to use their heat, or maybe there was something going on at home and they could still get to the center, that they could still get there and have a hot meal. It won't be the same meal that was normally planned for that day. It'll be soup and maybe a salad, or soup and a sandwich, something like that, a lighter meal. They also have the option to grab it. So if there is a family member nearby that wants to pick up the meal for them on their lunch hour and bring it back to their house, they can also do that as well, or a friend. We're not going to transport on inclement weather days. We kind of learned that the hard way. We just had an incident with Veteran Services that, they left in the morning. There was no snow on the ground yet. They got back at lunchtime, backing the vehicle and at the Allen Street building, and collided with another one of our vehicles. So we're really going to try to, if there's any closures either in the area that we're transporting to or the area that we're transporting from, essentially if any territory that they're crossing through, there's some sort of school closure, that's what we're going to use as our guide, to not have transport. So if Albany's closed, we're not going to transport to Albany. Even if we're open in Greene, we'll keep the local routes open. We have some upcoming preparedness trainings from the Department of Homeland Security at the Coxsackie Center on December 9th, Acre on the 17th, and Athens on the 18th. Those have all been pretty well attended so far, so they're going well. Just some updates from Veteran Services. We have the Adopt a Vet program that's going on. The tree is downstairs. There's some ornaments on it. We did it a little bit differently this year because last year we ran into some issues where people weren't in the long-term care facility, the names that we had, and then we get there and there'd be new veterans there. So this year we decided to do generic gifts that we're gonna put in like veterans closets, things like razors and shaving cream and, toothbrushes and things like that. So feel free if you wanna stop and grab something, coloring books, puzzles, anything like that. They're due back on the 17th, and you can drop them off in our office or at the new Veterans Building. The Reads Across America is on Saturday. It's 9 a.m. is the service in Athens and 12 p.m. is in Catskill. We are still getting the new building settled in. We're waiting on a couple vendors for signs, the flag pole. I don't think that's been put in yet. So that's going well. We had a float in the Catskill Parade of Lights honoring the Honor a Vet this year. It was really humbling to see. There was a husband and wife that donated the float, and Walmart donated all the decorations for the float. And I think people really appreciated the fact that we were drawing attention to the Honor a Vet. And just to kind of close out on the Community Day, we raised $18,484 in funds for Community Day. We had about 5,000 and change in expenses, so it left about 17,000 and change in our scholarship fund. We're planning to issue 12 scholarships at $1,000 apiece, and then roll the residual money into the next year, just in case we don't raise as much. So that'll be 2 scholarships per school district.
Was that the day the park?
That was the care. That was the care of town park. Yeah.
That's a nice profit that day.
Yeah. So 12 $1,000 scholarships. We're going to post in January about them. We're going to have an application online that you can go on our website, and we'll start taking them. We're going to put it out earlier, hopes that we can get a few more kids to apply, and then we have a little committee that will meet on it and decide on it. There is an essay involved, so hopefully.
If the parent is the veteran?
It can be a parent, sibling, or a grandparent. It goes in that order for preference. So let's say we have, 3 kids in the same district, but 2 have parents and 1 does not, it would go to the 2 with parents, as long as they all obviously met the minimum qualifications for the application process. So, I think that's all I have. So do you guys have any questions?
Can you just repeat the volunteers you said in the beginning? I missed the.
Yeah, so we had 7 people apply through the process, through the online process. 3 of them just didn't respond because the way it works is you send it in and then it sends us an alert and then we reach back out to you just to confirm and make sure, because sometimes they don't fill in all the fields. So when we reached back out, the people that we reached out to just didn't respond. We called and emailed them. We had 1 that said she can only just be a substitute, but wanted to help where she could. She was available in the Valley areas, the Catskill, Athens areas. And then the other 3, I think part of the problem is we were pushing it out and people weren't really sure what they were volunteering for. So once they realized that there was a commitment midday and, it's a hot meal that they have to serve and there's, specific times that they had to be there, they realized that they work full time and that just really wouldn't work out for them. So we referred them to friendly visitors just because that's a more flexible schedule.
So you picked up 3 volunteers?
No, just 1.
Just
one
one.
substitute.
1 substitute?
Yeah.
The other 3 didn't respond?
And the other 3 didn't respond. So, like I said, it is unfortunately, it is we need specific times. We have quite a few substitutes, but when you're going down a list of 20 people on a given day, that's really where a lot of the headache has come from, because some people will say they can do it, then they can't do it. And, you're just bound. So we really need people that are more consistent, that can take regular days. And then those substitutes are really just, if somebody calls out, we call the substitute. So.
And have you utilized the people that are already there? Like if you're short a person, do they?
Yeah, so that's where I think I was bringing up kind of like those fill-ins. We've had somebody in our specifically Catskill, she ends up taking an extra route like a few days a week. Yeah, and like I said, that's where our staff have come in and we've combined routes because the staff could do longer routes than the volunteers can. Just because they can come back, they can replenish their stock of food, so it stays hot and then go back out, things like that. So, yep.
Can we do something on the rep as far as trying to recruit volunteers? Because a lot of the older people that do the volunteering really aren't savvy on the internet and stuff like that. So maybe, I'd be happy to do anything with you on that. We could call Jay and get something out there because they always listen to the radio.
Okay.
And then people be more induced to.
We're happy to do, I did a few interviews. I know they put a couple on, I think WTEN, Spectrum was somebody that reached out. So the TV, we definitely put it on TV, but if you think it's a value, I don't really listen to local radio, I listen to FM. So, but yeah, I certainly wouldn't be averse to that. Yeah.
Do it free of charge.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem at all. Like I said, we've put out our feelers. We've had other agencies that we've reached out to as well. So we are doing, we are still working through that process. Again, I think we're getting some per diem drivers that are interested. So that's been a huge help for us. And some of the more, longer routes and more difficult routes, it is a little bit better to have one of our drivers do it anyway, just because we do have concerns about the length of some of the routes and things like that, and temperatures and maintaining it, and the heft of the boxes and the bags that we're carrying this stuff in. So, but yeah, that's it.
And you said the ARC is taking on additional.
They're going to take on, yes, I believe we were going to combine Maine and West Maine with the Spring Street, because I think they currently do the Spring Street. But again, even that agency isn't doing every day. So it's again, it's just a lot of orchestrating and making sure we have drivers for every single day of the week.
And who is organizing the calendar?
So right now, Francesca's assisting and Rose Bundy is assisting. So we have 2 staff working on it regularly. Yep.
And would you say it's the mountaintop routes that you're lacking the volunteers for?
I just really think in general, it could be any given day. The mountaintop does have the longer routes. But again, we have a hired driver for that. So we've kind of filled that void. That has actually been eased up since we've had this new driver start. So, he started last week and that has made a significant difference. Because we're not, again, feeling pressure that we have to find somebody. Okay, today we have to find somebody tomorrow, but so now it's just really dealing with the call outs and the unprepared, you know, people that are not able to make it. You know, again, I think with us planning a closure for inclement weather in certain areas of following school districts, that's going to make a significant difference as well, because that was one thing that was really concerning to a lot of our volunteers, even our staff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have good news, shocking as that may sound. Anyhow, so HEAP season opened last Monday, a little rocky start. We got 871 calls that first day. Going downstairs behind the receptionist was pretty mind-boggling. And our phone system is not the most stable system to work in the world. So anyhow, out of that, we already had 700 apps in the queue, so we're working on those. And then, of course, what happened on Tuesday was a snowstorm. And by Friday, there was single digits for temps. So it's really been quite an eye-opener for an open HEAP season. So that's working. We do not know anything about the emergencies yet, and just hot off the press, I was just telling Amanda before I came up here, the state will be opening the equipment repair and replacement on Thursday, the 11th. And that will only be open for as long as the state has the money. It does not state how much money the state has. So that's probably going to be a quick little component.
Is that for repairing people's heating systems?
Yes. But if they're previously repaired, you can't fill out an application. So some good news.
Good news, I guess, at the end of the day, but you know, it's avoidable.
Well, it was a crisis for those people. I mean, those 871 calls, even the next day. Typically, I get around 300 calls. Even the next day, it was 547 calls. So it was really busy.
So we had over 1,400 calls.
And the following day, there was 471. So I'm thinking 1,700 and something. Yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't, that's only phone calls. That doesn't count the online apps and the people who come in and drop off the apps and everything else. So HEAP is really the number one issue at this
What was
point.
the number of applications you said?
In the queue, 700.
700.
Yeah.
Well, where did the funds end up coming from?
The feds.
Guys, they just pull it out of thin air or something, or?
You'd have to ask me when,
Huh?
you know, when-
Came out of your right pocket.
I guess so.
So
I mean, that's pretty sad that you're closing in on 2,000 people in our county requiring or looking for heating assistance.
so
Keep going.
yeah, so-
Going.
So last year was, you know, all the applications together for the program was around 4,000.
That's what 4,200.
Yeah, it was over 4,000.
Ira, have we had to utilize any of the code blue here in this building?
No. Mm. You know, the plan is to use the hotels to move people around because, you know,
Right.
this would have to be staffed
Right.
at all times. So. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go into the proposed action items. Number one is authorizing lease agreement, Greene County Department of Human Services, Aging, and the town of Catskill.
Lucas.
Lucas. Lennon,
No, Blake.
Blake. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number two, authorizing agreement, Greene County Department of Human Services and Fur Food LLC, DAB, for DBA, Mom's Meals. Get a motion,
Like,
Blake,
Andrew.
Linger. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's carried. Number three, authorizing agreement between Greene County Department of Human Services Aging and Nicole Inman, MSRD CD Inc. Get a motion,
Lucas.
Lucas,
Linger.
Linger. Anybody opposed? That's carried.
All in favor? All in favor?
Number four, funding allocation for Greene County Department of Human Services,
Laverne.
Blake,
And Laverne.
Rivera.
Aye.
All opposed? That's passed. Number 5, budget amendment, insurance recovery, social services.
Vera?
Later. We'll do it in a little bit.
You got a question, Matt?
No question. What happened, Kyra?
I didn't say no. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's passed. Number 6, authorizing chargeback of election-related services and materials.
Lennon.
Lennon,
Blake.
Blake, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Anyone else have anything to come before county services? Motion to adjourn.
Run back to number 3 just for a minute. Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, we didn't do it in all in favor. We did anybody opposed, but we didn't do it in favor. Well, yeah, we can figure, but.
Okay, so back to number 3. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Patty?
And the letter.
Mr. Leonard? You're closed.
Public Works Committee, that's 6:21. Start with our highway superintendent's report.
Let's stay for moral support.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Sorry for my voice. If I lose it, then I guess that's it. County Route 40, we're still in the EDPL process, which is the eminent domain process for acquiring that one property. Once that is cleared, we can start the final design and get that completed and submitted to New York State.
Got a question on that? Are we condemning a portion of the property to do the project, or we're taking the whole property?
We are taking the whole property. County Route 61 bridge, we actually are going to be advertising that, actually started today, and we'll be opening the bids on January 15th. So we should be starting that one up early in 26.
That both sides of the.
Yes, we were gonna stagger it one because of the timing, but now since it's gonna go so early, we can do both at the same time. Going down to County Route 3 culvert in the town of Halkett. We're currently in the right-of-way process. Should be clearing that right-of-way process by the end of this year, and that project will most likely go in 26 as well. So once we get final design cleared from New York State, we can get that one going. Unfortunately, Platte Clove Road Bridge, we got red flagged by New York State DOT on that structure 2 months ago, based on the fracture of the rock that's underneath one of the footings. We're trying to figure out the final and permanent repair of that rock itself. And we're still going through some of the right-of-way process with permitting with New York State Parks Department. So it does not look like, because of the scheduling critical of that project, if we can't get it bid and put out super early, because we have a very short construction window before the seasonal section of Platte Clove Road closes on November 15th-ish. So if we can't get that project completed and done by that, then we can't start it at all. So looks like that window.
Flag, does that close that bridge or?
No, we had to reduce it down to 1 lane. Well, it's super narrow now, so it's even tough for buses and plows to go across it, so.
It's not weight restricted.
It is not weight restricted. 23B slope stabilization here in Jefferson Heights. We're gonna be rebidding that this month. We actually had several phone calls from contractors requesting this information before we even put it out, so that's good. I think putting it out early is going to be beneficial for us. And that, right. And I think the timing was the biggest part of that. And this project, 23B project, is going to gauge the rest of our road stabilization and slope stabilization projects because of how extensive that project is. We'll be able to figure out if we can do some of the other ones and the timing on those.
Scott, would the road have to be closed again?
We are trying to figure out how to do that without impacting at least keeping one lane open at all times. It's gonna be difficult. We're probably gonna have to close at least one lane and do staggered, similar to what Central Hudson did. It's a little different. We're working with Central Hudson on that closure. And they went through probably 4 different versions of that closure just to get it right. So yeah, we're trying to figure out how to get the crane that's gonna have to drive the piles as far over without being destabilizing the slope even more. So, but we're gonna have to shut down at least one lane for a couple weeks for the sheet piling to be driven. So yeah, we're trying to figure out, because there's driveways in between that section.
Right.
We're trying to schedule the project so it's in the middle of summer, so it doesn't affect buses, because that was a big thing with Central Hudson. They had buses going through there. They weren't really accounted for that, and they had 3 flaggers, 3 permanent streetlights, and still it was a little difficult for them. So, County Route 2 culvert replacement in the town of Prattsville. With this new slide that you'll see a resolution for, we would like to get that slide completed before we start this, because County Route 2 there's one way out. I mean, there's basically one on each end, and you close off the middle, you're going to be stranded. So we're trying to fix the slide portion first early in the season, and then get the culvert completed afterwards. We are currently in snow and ice control season. Kyle Conrad, one of our project managers that has been spearheading our snow and ice control salt usage, as well as our liquid treatment that we are now using. He's been going to other towns and helping out with them, trying to get their setups calibrated for snow and ice control. So I think it's working well. It's amazing how every storm, there's nuances to the different snowstorms, the different surface temperatures. So we're constantly learning every storm, but I think this past storm we did well. Going to solid waste, you'll see some resolutions for the Wyndham transfer station. Just for reference, each trip to the Wyndham transfer station is 42 miles. That's it's round trip. So we did last year 375 trips to the Wyndham transfer station. It's over 15,000 miles. That's one of the benefits of having the transfer station as direct haul. Just like all the other ones that we've done, they work out really well. Another thing is Hunter transfer station right now is pretty much at its maximum. There's only so much material you can put into a trailer and get it out of there. So we've been extremely busy up there. And I think that building this new Wyndham transfer station will bring down some of the volume in Hunter, and we'll probably see an increase in the volume in Wyndham. Plus, I don't know if anyone's been to the Wyndham transfer station. It is clearly in dire need of improvements.
Scott, with the footprint, with the person being altered, does that affect any kind of the land lease that we have with the town?
Yes, excuse me. Once we get the surveys and we come up with a plan of the footprint, which it clearly needs to be much bigger than what it is now, we'll have to have an agreement with the town of Wyndham.
Would that include EDC? Would that become allowed?
We're trying to keep it to as small as we possibly can without triggering any sort of.
Not going to infringe on the land lease.
No. Absolutely not.
Why are we allowed to use for the Wyndham site same building plan basically that you did for Hunter or Saki. Why do you have to
What?
pay for all new?
Well, this one I think is, I mean, there is going to be a benefit to some of the engineering portions of it, but there's a lot of geotechnical involved, like the Koksaki transfer station. The amount of fill and the geotech involved in that was incredibly extensive, much more than what our Hunter transfer station was. There is economics to using a similar, but I think what we were looking to do in Wyndham is a combination of what we have here in Catskill with the residential drop-off area, and similar to what Hunter has as far as the double doors, tipping floor. So I think what we did in Catskill is working out extremely well, and we're actually seeing an increase in usage for that residential drop-off area because it's so accessible.
Full recycling bin.
Yep, because we have bays for all the recycling as well as bag drop-off. So it's keeping the residents that just want to dispose of one bag, two bags from going to the tipping floor where the commercial side is. So it actually is, it's safer, less liability for exposure for Greene County.
So when they go to that area, like, observe them, they go to another booth to pay, correct?
Correct.
And you charge them so much per bag?
Yep.
Is that what it is? So they go up and say they have 5 bags and they X amount of dollars?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And the recycling is free.
Yeah, that works out well there. That's a nice operation.
What we have been getting a lot of requests for the transfer station is flag boxes. I know that there are flag boxes.
Yeah, we got some from NACO.
Can we get some?
We've put in a request, but they cost, like now, I think we're gonna have to purchase.
We'll pay for them.
You'll pay for them? Oh, then we can order them.
Because we have, I mean, it's one of those natural things where people are throwing out stuff. They want to,
Yeah,
they're asking us for,
absolutely. We're good to go.
and we usually have to direct them either here or there's other locations that we have a list, but
It'd be great
I don't
to
know
have
if
them
they
at each
just-
of the sites.
Yeah, no, definitely.
On all these slope failures, don't get me wrong on it, but that entire rebuild of our point down there where they pile drive in the Hudson River and stabilized that whole slope came in just over $1 million. And why are these ones that are on land along the road coming in at 2 million, somewhere around there? What's that all about?
the only difference between what happened in the slope failure and the point and up there in Prattsville is there's water on one side. But there's a massive drop off from County Route 2 down to the Schoharie Creek. I mean, you still have to get equipment down there. You still have to, and that's one of the benefits of this type of construction. We don't need all the permitting to get it into the Schoharie Creek. They can actually do the soil nail drilling from the top. And that was not as extensive as what we're doing up there on County Route 2.
Just, what is Ontario County and what is that whole program where this company with that slope failure?
They did the bidding process up there. They followed New York State procurement procedures to do their bidding. We're just piggybacking off, just like Onondaga or another county that we've piggybacked, or they've piggybacked off of us. This company was the exact same company that did County Route 2 above that, 3.5 years ago. It's held up extremely well, knock on wood. So I think
I think I asked you if you would be able to use them on the other slope failures.
yes. That type of construction that technique is only good for certain types of failures. So like 61, where the slope failure is so deep and the type of clay it's in, it really isn't suitable for that. So we're like up on the mountaintop, this actually will work out really well because they can actually drill down into rock.
Okay, now to, well, action items, number one, awarding bid refuse removal for 2026. Martinez. Ranger, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Awarding bid cleaning service for various county buildings. Buelich. Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing implementation and federal funding of state. Oh, I'm sorry. Authorizing purchase and installation of video surveillance system to monitor county fueling stations.
Lavera.
Lennon,
Quick question, Jim, on this.
Yes.
What kind of warranty or is there?
This is a 5-year, basically anything breaks, they replace it.
For 5 years?
For 5 years.
5-year period.
5 years, yeah. That includes any upgrades. So the software that they have, they'll continue to upgrade it free.
Well, legitimately, do you see after 5 years that you would have to get a whole new system again?
We're hoping not, no, but technology,
Right.
I mean, like camera systems, look at your phone, 5 years
Right,
after.
because they're having issues in the jail or something.
And that's a good thing. Well, we have a guarantee for 5 years that not only the cameras themselves as well as the program will be good. Now, we got a great price for 5 years. After 5 years, are they gonna raise the price? That seems to be the going thing for most programs. Our G-Works, our asset management system, they hiked up the price, but we went out to several other places to figure out why. And that seems like what happens. They give you a good price for a couple of years and then they get you hooked. They get all the information on it. And
Can I also ask who's monitoring this?
who's gonna be monitoring? Our staff,
Okay. So we'll be in your office?
yes.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number four, authorizing the implementation and funding of the state Marchicelli program aid eligible transportation federal aid project, fully fund the local share of federal and state aid eligible and illegible program cost and establish capital project 173.
Lavera?
Lennon. Rivera and Lennon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number five, establishing capital project number 174, Wyndham Transport Station reconstruction and accepting proposal for engineering services. I'll move that.
Lavera?
Zero second. Has somebody else? Rivera? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number six, establishing capital project number 175, County Route 2 slope stabilization town of Prattsville. I'll move that.
Second.
Second by Leg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number seven, authorizing formal proposal for access limited construction for a slope stabilization County Route 2 town of Prattsville. I'll move that one.
Second.
Second by Leg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number eight, accepting formal proposal from Evergreen Mountain Construction Inc. Slope stabilization County Route 2, town of Prattsville. I'll move that.
Second.
Second by Leg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number nine, establishing capital project number 176. County Route 20 slope stabilization town of East Durham.
Lavera?
Lennon. Lennon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 10, accepting formal proposal from Evergreen Mountain Construction Incorporated slope stabilization County Route 20 town of East Durham.
Lavera?
There.
Quick question, Jim Scott, how long has the slope failure here been taking place?
That one, that actually just probably within the last 6 months.
And it's serious where it's an
Yes.
emergency situation?
of these have gotten to the point where they're right on the white line.
Gotcha.
Right on the edge line anymore, we're gonna end up having to reduce the lanes.
Sure. Thank you. Jim.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. 11. Accepting formal proposal from Access Limited Construction for the slope stabilization of County Route 20, town of East Durham. Len, Buelich and Leonard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 12, budget amendment authorizing purchase of one set of 4 new 18,800 pound capacity mobile vehicle lifts.
Really?
You have to, you're going in solid waste.
Yeah.
Correct,
In your new building, right?
correct. They're similar to the ones that we have at the highway building. They're actually more modern or go remote, so we can tuck them away. The current ones that we have right now are stationary, and take up a lot of room. So we're gonna end up auctioning that one off as well. And then
look.
What's that?
The old look.
Yes.
Well, it's a drive-on. The old one's a drive-on. And the new trucks don't even fit on them. They're so much longer.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's carried. Anything else from the board, public works? Motion closed. Motion by Leg.
Second.
Second